And we're back for question 4. Now, question 4 has you do a series of things for different credit returns. So at first, you're going to do 5, 10, 15, 20, and we're dealing with how many hours you're going to lose. But then when we get to part E, we're going to deal with how many days, and then F is how much money you're going to lose. So the very first part we're going to focus on is how many professional audiology hours do you lose at a 5% credit for return. So we're going to use the same annual P&L sheet as before, and he actually already gave you the 5% return, which is right here, 35,000. How you calculate that though is you go up to the overall income for hearing aids at 700,000, and you're just going to do the overall amount of the hearing aids, so 700,000, and then you're going to times that by the percentage. So for this, it's 5% or 0.05, which will give you $3,500, or what he gave you. We are going to revisit that for each percentage, so don't stress about that right this second. So the first figure we're working with, so we know that we're losing $35,000 in order to have a 5% return. So that's great. We know the dollar amount, but how many hearing aids is that actually? So when we do this, we first have to figure out, well, how many hearing aids were returned? So we're going to take our amount of 3,500. Remember, you can type in or click, so you could type in the 35000, or I just like to click. And we're going to divide that by the cost per hearing aid. The cost per hearing aid we know from the other side, the income information. Each individual hearing aid is $2,000. So we're going to calculate the full amount of return by $2,000, which, sorry, this is in currency, just because I did it before. Remember, you can change currency to general here. So 17.5 hearing aids were returned. When we talked in class, obviously we don't have half hearing aids, so we're always going to round. So we know 18 hearing aids were returned with the 5%. Now, what does that mean time-wise? If we go click on our income information, we know that that $2,000 also equates to 3 hours. So pretty easy math now. We're actually just going to do 18 times 3 hours, which gets us 54 hours. So for a 5% loss, we're going to lose $35,000, or we're going to be returned 18 hearing aids, and we're going to lose 54 man hours. So that's 5% return for credit, $35,000, which equates to 18 units, return for 54 professional hours. So now we're going to do the exact same thing, but we're going to focus on 10%. So this is actually not listed. So now we're going to have to calculate it out. So let's calculate what 10% is. Again, I like to click, but you can type it in. And 10% is 0.1. If you're ever confused as to what the decimal is, you can just take 10 divided by, or you can take whatever the percentage is, divide it by 100. So 5%, it's 5 divided by 100, 10%, 10 divided by 100, and that'll give you this decimal. So let's see what 10% is. So a 10% loss, big surprise when we're dealing with tens, is $70,000. So $70,000 would equate to, remember, it's $2,000 for a single unit. So how many units? Oh, again, I'm sorry, these are all in currency, but general. So 35 units are hearing aids. And then how many man hours are lost? 35 times 3, so the amount of units times the total hours. So we're losing 105 hours. And then you're just going to do that for 15% and 20%. So literally all you're going to do is do 700,000 times 0.2 and 700,000 times, 0.15 and then times 0.2 for 20. Now, once you get down to E, it's kind of just asking you to use all of the numbers you've used before. You're really just going to take your credit hours and make them into days. So 54 hours is how many days? Remember, we are using 6-hour days at this portion. So you can just do 54 divided by 6 or 9 days. So you're going to lose 9 days for the 5%. Once you get down to F, this is the part that's a little bit trickier. It's saying calculate how much salary you're going to lose for those hours. Now, salary is calculated based on the 8 hours. So I'm going to show you how you would get the hourly rate. And then you honestly just times the hourly rate times the amount of hours you're losing. So in order to get your hourly rate, you're going to have to go back to that original figure that you're making total for salary. So that's 112,500, and that's for 1.5 audiologists. So you're making this much, and now I need to know, well, how much is it per person? The $75,000 we talked about before. Now, that's great and all. That's $75,000 a year. So $75,000 a year. We already discussed, if you look, obviously it's jumping, great. So if you look back up here, we know we're going to be working 52 weeks, 5 days a week, but instead of 6, we're going to be working 8 hours. So we're actually going to divide our $75,000 by the 52 weeks we're going to be working at 5 days a week. But this time we're actually going to put 8 hours instead of 6. I can't tell you why. I just know that that's what he wanted us to do. So here's how much you're making hourly. So in order to calculate your salary response, we know if we look back at, for a 5% return, we are losing how many hours? We're losing 54 professional hours. So for this, I'm just going to do 54 professional hours times our salary. So I'm going to be losing this amount of money. Again, you can round. I personally rounded to $1,948. It was just easier for any deficit. If you want to round to $36 an hour, that's fine too. I found it easier to keep it, just to click it, but it's really up to you. So then you just follow these steps just like the first part for 10%, 15%, and 20%. So the first part you're doing, you're just figuring out how many hours. The second, how many days, and then how much salary is missing. So I hope this helps all you guys. If you need help, you know where I'm at. Okay,